3 mistakes you must never make at a meal and the rules of human relationships. Anecdotes about the late Samsung chairman Lee Kun-hee and his philosophy on human relationships in Korea. The chairmanship memoirs business is decided at the dining table, not the conference room. Introduction: the dining table as the ultimate boardroom. People often believe that critical business decisions are made within the sleek, modern walls of a corporate conference room, driven solely by quantitative figures and flawlessly executed presentations. However, if my lifetime of experience has taught me anything, it is that the truly decisive moments of business and human alignment happen, not in a boardroom, but over a shared meal at the dining table. Early in my career, I suffered a deeply painful lesson in New York. It involved a contract we had painstakingly nurtured for an entire decade. To secure a partnership with the chairman of a highly influential global corporation, our team engaged in dozens of meetings, exchanged hundreds of emails, and invested thousands of hours of rigorous preparation. The legal team had cleared it. The finance department had approved it. And all that remained was the final signature. Our dinner that evening at a Michelin-starred restaurant in the heart of Manhattan was, for all practical purposes, a celebration of a done deal. I was entirely confident that everything would be flawlessly wrapped. Up the following morning, yet as the dinner drew to a close, the chairman looked at me, intently, paused, and uttered something completely unexpected. "I am sorry, but I believe we must reconsider this transaction." I was completely blindsided. Stunned and disoriented, I cautiously inquired if there were any lingering concerns regarding the terms of the contract or our financial projections. He merely maintained a heavy silence, declining to provide a specific reason. Returning to my hotel, I stayed up all night, combing through our presentations and agreements, yet I could not find a single flaw. 3 days later, I received a call from his executive assistant, who conveyed the chairman's exact words: "You are an exceptional entrepreneur with clear capability and vision. However, you are not someone he wished to dine with again." A decade of relentless effort collapsed in a mere 2 hours over dinner. Perfect contracts and brilliant presentations meant absolutely nothing. From that day forward, I came to a stark realization. People do not buy your credentials or your paperwork. They buy your core essence as a human being. And a person's true nature is laid bare without filter. The moment they eat, the way they converse, and in the fleeting second when the bill arrives. Throughout my life, as I hosted thousands of executive banquets and dined with hundreds of global leaders, I began to notice a definitive pattern. The vast majority of individuals sabotage their own opportunities by repeating the exact same 3 mistakes at the dining table. Today, I want to discuss the core philosophy behind those mistakes. The 3 fatal mistakes you must never make at a meal. Chapter 1. Never let your tongue outpace your food. I once met a young entrepreneur in his mid-30s who came to pitch an investment proposal. He was an incredibly sharp individual with a stellar background, having graduated from an elite university and earned an elite MBA abroad. His brimming confidence left a favorable impression, and I looked forward to our dinner at a hotel restaurant. However, the moment we sat down and the waiter handed us the menus, this young man began aggressively, pitching his business model before we could even order. He launched into market research, target demographics, and projections. Soon the food arrived, an exquisitely crafted appetizer, prepared with the utmost care by the chef. I picked up my fork to take my first bite. At that exact moment, he practically blocked my fork with his words. "Chairman, to break down the structure of this investment." I quietly set my fork down and looked at him. Blind to my reaction, he remained entirely consumed by his own monologue. The pattern repeated when the main course, a steaming, perfectly seared steak, was served. The moment I picked up my knife, he cut in again. If you look at the competitor analysis, he spent the next hour pouring out a relentless stream of words, without letting a single piece of meat touch his lips, letting his own steak go completely cold. I was so occupied listening to his barrage that I could not even taste the meal. As dessert was served, he finally paused to ask, "Chairman, what are your thoughts on my proposal?" Do you know how I responded? I said, "The food was excellent." He looked utterly bewildered, but I had already resolved that I would never do business with him. It was not because his business model was flawed, nor because he lacked intelligence. It was because he possessed an absolute lack of consideration for the person sitting across from him He did not come to share a meal, he came to unilaterally hijack another person's time for his own agenda. If one enters a partnership with such an individual, it is guaranteed that in business, he will ignore the realities on the ground or the circumstances of his partners, focusing strictly on his own gains and his own voice. Such partnerships are doomed from the start. In stark contrast, a respected 60-year-old executive I met at an ancient Ryote traditional restaurant in Kyoto behaved entirely differently. I was the one proposing a critical partnership to him, the leader of a massive conglomerate. When a beautifully arranged multi-course kaiseki meal featuring seasonal ingredients was served, he paused before lifting his chopsticks and quietly admired the dish. "How beautiful," he murmured. "One can truly feel the chef's heart and the turning of the seasons in this dish." That single, mindful observation transformed the entire atmosphere. We dined slowly without a hint of rush. We conversed about the ingredients, the preparation methods, and interpreted the chef's creative intent. The conversation about food naturally evolved into a dialogue about life and the changing of the seasons, segged into profound insights on market trends and management philosophy. The actual business proposal was brought up organically, only when the meal was winding down. After I delivered a brief overview, he nodded and finalized the agreement in less than 10 minutes. Astonished by the speed of his decision, I asked, "How can you finalize such a monumental decision so quickly, when we have barely discussed the technicalities?" He smiled and replied, "Over the past 2 hours, I have seen exactly who you are. A person's character is revealed in how they treat their food. You are someone who treasures the smallest details, refuses to be rushed, and knows how to breathe in sync with your counterpart. That is the kind of dignity I want in a business partner. Trust is never built on grandiose rhetoric. It is forged in small, ordinary behaviors. That gentleman respected the food, respected the time, and deeply respected me. Therefore, at a dining table, one must adhere to an absolute rule. Food comes first, conversation comes second. When a dish is served, pause and savor it. Ensure that your counterpart has the space to enjoy their food as well. Let at least 2 or 3 dishes pass, so that their hunger is satisfied and their tension dissipates. Only when their mind is naturally at ease should you introduce the core business. A person who rushes to speak before eating will ultimately alienate others and find themselves standing alone." Proverb Chapter 2, Never fill a glass while failing to read a mind. During my years running the corporation, I employed a highly capable executive in his mid-40s, whose stellar performance had earned my trust. One evening, I brought him along to an incredibly critical dinner in Singapore with the chairman of our largest Southeast Asian partner, firm a deal valued at tens of millions of dollars. Before we arrived, I specifically instructed the executive to be observant, as the partner chairman was an exceptionally prudent man. Once dinner began and the wine was poured, the executive, eager to drive the momentum, began taking over the table. He constantly filled the partner chairman's glass, topping it off to the brim the exact second the chairman took a tiny sip. He attempted to do the same to my glass, and though I physically covered my glass to signal him to stop, he completely missed the cue, continuously forcing toasts, telling jokes and laughing loudly. To an undiscerning eye, it might have looked like a highly energetic and successful corporate entertainment. But I watched the partner chairman's face steadily harden. Due to traditional Asian business etiquette, he could not outright refuse the drinks, so he was forcing himself to down glass after glass. His words dwindled significantly, and he kept glancing at his watch, a clear signal that he wanted the night to end immediately. Despite the heavy hints I dropped, the executive, intoxicated by his own performance, kept shouting for more toasts. The moment dinner concluded, the partner chairman offered a brief, cold handshake, cited fatigue, and left abruptly. In the car back to the hotel, I asked the executive, "How do you think the chairman felt about tonight?" He replied with absolute confidence, "The atmosphere was fantastic. He ate well and seemed to thoroughly enjoy the drinks." I shook my head and said, "You are entirely wrong. Because of you, the chairman was profoundly uncomfortable. You kept your eyes on his glass, but you completely failed to look at his face." Sure enough, the following morning, we received a notification from the partner firm's secretariat. The executive's overbee